Hi friends, now we are going to discuss the topic how clients and contractor should work together. This is the requirement of NIBOS syllabus. The duties they owe each other. In bracket they have mentioned safety and health in construction, ILO Code of Practice Chapter 2. Second point they have mentioned effective planning and coordination of contracted work. Third point they have mentioned pre-selection and management of contractors. They are expecting the learning outcome from the learners, advice on the main duties for health and safety in the workplace, and help their organization manage contractors. They are having the assessment criteria. NIBOS assessment criteria is explain how contractors should be selected, monitored, and managed. Now we proceed to our main explanation. First of all, we should know what is the contractor management. Contractor management is the managing of outsourced work performed for an individual company. It may be the employer, a individual employer may give the work to any company which he cannot do or he wants to outsource due to speedy completion of work, or he may not be having that skill set, that competent manpower for doing that type of work, or any organization. For example, we take the example of Maruti. The Maruti company is not making the tire. They are purchasing the tire from the different outsourcing company or any other company. They are not making the batteries. They are taking the battery from the another company. So in that case, the Maruti company has to manage their contractors. That contractors may be anyone. See that contractor management implements a system that manage contractors health and safety information, insurance information, training programs, and specific document that pertain to the contractor and the client. So in the contractor management system, it is having to check from the contractor side as well as the client side whatever the health and safety information to be shared between the both, insurance information, different training programs which will be conducted by the client for the contractor workers, and specific document, some document which to be maintained by the contractor to prove that he is maintaining health and safety at his workplace. So all this related to health and safety, managing the with the contractor is known as the contractor management. Now we know, we would like to know that who is client. A person, a client may be a person or an organization that authorize or engage a contractor as vendor, engage a contractor as service provider, engage a contractor as supplier, engage a contractor as outsource for various work, engage a contractor for a particular job, engage a contractor for giving any particular service, engage a contractor for any supply requirements. So any person or any organization that authorize to any another organization or any any person as a vendor, service provider, supplier, outsourcer, job, service, and supply requirements, that is the who is giving the order to another person to do the work on the behalf of that person. First person giving the order to another person. So first person is here the client. First person is the client. Now we should know who is the contractor. A person or an organization, maybe he maybe as a vendor, service provider, supplier, outsourcing company, engaged to manage the certain work, job, service, supply requirement time to time by the client. Once any work is accepted by B person or second person on the behalf of the A person, on the behalf of the client, if that person is going to accept any work on the behalf of any person, automatically this person becomes the contractor. Suppose Maruti company is giving the order of 1,000 tires. So whosoever that company will participate in the bid and will qualify the bid for supplying the 1,000 number of tires. So that company will become the contractor for the Maruti company. And Maruti is here the client. Maruti is here the client. So for various big contracts, a single company cannot do the all the work. So they hire the various contractors. For doing the construction work, they hire a different contractor. For doing the manufacturing work, hire the different contractor. For providing the training, they hire a different contractor. Like that, so many contractors will be there on one side. Like in India, some metro work is going on. The metro will be railed out around 10 to 20 kilometer in a city. So completing that metro work, single contractor or a single client cannot do the work. They have to hire some their other people to assist them to complete the task on time, and other people or organization, they may have the certain capabilities, specialist in their area. That time the principal contractor will come into the picture, and he will hold all the responsibilities and can give to subcontractors also. But here we are restricting, as per the NIBOS requirement, only the client and contractor. We are not going into a detail who is the principal contractor, subcontractor, and who is the third party contractor. So we are not going in that detail, but it exists. Now we are going to discuss when client planning to involve contractors. The following points should be considered when planning to involve the contractor. A client received some order or he wants to do something. The first idea coming into his mind that he has to take the help of some another party. That party is known as the contractor. So what he should consider? Once is the planning stage. Health and safety must be included in the contract specification. The client should include the health and safety features. They should include into the contract specification before releasing the contract. Before pre-tendering stage itself, he should include health and safety into the contract specification. All significant hazard must be included in the contract specification. Whatever the at the site, there will be some hazard may be there due to geographic condition, due to environmental condition, due to the pollution, or due to any other hazardous chemicals. All significant hazard must be included into the contract specification by the client. Whenever client is selecting, the contractor must be selected with safety in mind. Contractor always has to be selected keeping his safety performance in the mind. If any contractor is going to not follow any health and safety standard, the contractor may get some accident. Finally, the work will be stopped and ultimate loss will be to the client. Always contractor must be selected with safety in mind. Prior to start of the work, health and safety policy should be exchanged. This information also client should consider and should be mentioned in their contracted document. The contractor must be given basic site and health and safety information of workplace by the client, such as welfare facilities, fire safety, emergency procedure, significant hazardous material storage, chemical storage. All this information should be given by client to the contractor. He should consider all this information in his mind and should write into the contract document. Before, at the time of tendering, he is releasing the tender notice. That time he should include all this information into the tender notice. Now we come to the next. If we are now going to the managing the client and contractors, that area can be broken down into the 5 key areas. First, selecting the contractor. Second, planning the work. Third, coordinating the work, monitoring the work, fifth, managing the work. These 5 steps we are going to discuss in detail. Selection of contactor, or it can be understood like pre-selection criteria of contactor, or what are the factors to be considered for selecting the contactor. This slide is very important, and many times this slide has been asked into the our exam in the 8 marks also. So before selection of the contactor, we should check the following things of the contactor. Who should check? Client should check with the contactor a copy of their health and safety policy, whether contactor is having any health and safety. If they are having health and safety, the client should ask their health and safety policy. Example of risk assessment and method statement of the contactor means earlier whatever he has done the work, what are the risk assessment he has done, that examples, that approved copy he can ask from the contactor, and method statement, whatever the activities he has done earlier, like any excavation activities he has done or any high rise building activities he has done, that information, that risk assessment method statement we should ask from the contactor. The qualification and training records of staff of the contactor, we should ask this information from the contactor, because to know that he is providing the training, regular training to his workers, and wherever his staff is qualified or not, we should ask the qualification and training records of the staff, we should ask from the contactor. We should seek the membership of a professional organization or certified body, whether the contactor is a member of any professional organization or any certified body. Why it is required to see? Because it can show to the client whether he is following any professional organization membership guidelines to keep update their own health and safety culture in their organization, or whether that contactor is approved by any certified bodies and he has become the membership. Because becoming the member of any certified professional bodies, the contactor has to follow some certain rules, guidelines has to follow. If he is following that, it means he is the concern about the health and safety of their workers. We should seek from the contactor the records of maintenance and test for plant and equipment. When he is doing, the contactor is doing the regular maintenance of their equipment and testing, third party, especially the third party inspection of the crane and lifting equipment, that record we should see. Their machinery should be proper, well maintained condition, so work can be resumed once the contactor is selected. That record also we should ask from the contactor. Names of previous or current client to use as a references. This information also client should ask from the contactor to check the previous history. Previous means the whatever the he has done the work earlier with some clients, to check whether he has done the work with proper health and safety guidelines, and whatever the contractor may be having some running clients. At present the contractor may be working for so many clients, so from the current clients also we can seek the information how the contractor following health and safety at the workplace. We can seek, client can seek this information, accident history record from the contractor. This will show that how much contractor is committed towards the health and safety of their staff and wherever he is working. This information easily reflect how many accidents are happening if the contractor is carrying out some activities at any workplace. We should seek, client should seek records of enforcement action taken by authorities against them. If any enforcement action is taken against that contractor, we should ask the record. And what is the outcome of the enforcement action? This is also very relevant information. Suppose any fatality has been happened on his site and enforcement agency has taken action against him, and the case may be in the criminal court. If the contractor is found guilty, that time the contractor may be behind the bar. He may get imprisonment. That time the all work will be stopped and the client work also automatically will be delayed. So this records of enforcement action taken by authorities against the contractor should be sought by the client. Proof of advocate resources such as access to specialist safety advice. This information also should be asked from the contractor whether he is having the advocate safety gears, lifting equipment, PPEs, and any other access to safety specialist safety advice, whether he is having some safety specialist in his company or in his panel. That proof also we should ask. How we can ask the proof? Whether we can ask simply their inventory register or purchase order copy of some safety equipment PPE purchased in last 1 year. That will give a proof that contractor is investing the money in the PPEs, safety equipments, and maintaining the PPEs and safety equipment in their store also, inventory also. So these are the main selection criteria before selecting the any contractor. This information we should check with the contractor. This slide is very important, and again I am telling this all the points we should remember by heart. Now we come to the topic planning the work between client and contractor. During the planning stage, the following information to be shared between the client and the contractor. Hazard posed by the site and work carried out. Whatever the hazards posed by the site is having their own hazard due to some muddy area may be there. Yeah, the rainwater may come over there on the site. Sometimes the site, the sand condition may be very sandy condition. And what is the work carried out? What is the work is going to carried out due to that? What are the hazards may be present on the site? This information should be shared between the client and the contractor. Hazard posed by the contractor activities, whatever the contractor is going to start some work, is going to resume some work. Due to that, what the hazard may be present. Suppose contractor wants to demolish some building. Due to that, lot of dust, vibration may occur at the workplace. So that will be a hazard. So that should be the also discussed by the contractor and to be informed to the client. Risk assessment, they should do the risk assessment. Client also should do their own risk assessment. Contractor also should do their own risk assessment, and both should share their both risk assessment. So they can come to know that what is the site hazard seen by the client and what is the hazard seen by the contractor. This will share the lot of information, and accordingly the planning can be done. Method statement, how the client wants the work to be done as per the contractor view, how the work to be done. This method statement also should be shared between the both the parties. Now we come to the coordination of work between client and contractor. To avoid any conflict between the client and the contractor during stages of the work, as the work will be moving, coordination is mandatory and should be mutually resolved without affecting work and others. It is saying that any coordination is mandatory and should be mutually resolved by having a key person, by having the meeting with the client representative and the contractor representative without affecting work and others activities. Therefore, coordination should include ensuring activities do not conflict. They should be the clear cut sequencing of the activities. What activities is going to be performed first? permit to work system to control high risk activities. Any high risk activities available at the site, they should implement the permit to work system. By implementing the permit to work system, like for confined space, the hazard and risk can be stopped and there will be no chances of any accident. Key contacts from both the sides, like work foreman identified to ensure continuities. Key contact person will be from the client side, another person will be from the contractor side. If any conflict is coming, any clashes is going to be happen between the priority of the work, that time the client representative and the contractor representative both will come. They will have a mutual understanding, or they will have a sort of meeting. They will discuss what is the outcome to resolve this problem. So key contact should be available with the client also of the contractor's person, and contractor should have the client key contact details. By this, the activities at the work site can be coordinated smoothly. Now we come to the next topic: monitor and control between the client and contractor. The client must monitor the work to ensure safety. That is the prime responsibilities. Who has to monitor? The client has to monitor. Contractor can say, I am monitoring, I am doing everything. Even then, the client duty is there to monitor, to work, to ensure safety. The client can stop the work if contractor involves unsafe practices. If the contractor doing the unsafe practices, unsafe activities, unsafe condition is arising due to the contractor's actions, so client can stop the work. Why a client can stop the work? Here we will ask very simple thing. The we already discussed the responsibilities. Who is the ultimate responsible? Always employer is the ultimate responsible. In this case, employer, who is the employer? Client is the employer. Client is only hiring to the contractor. Many times, as the client will tell, contractor will do the work in the same manner. So it is assumed or presumed that if any accident is happening, generally it is a mistake of the client. Client may be pressurizing to the contractor. Client might have given the advice, nothing will happen. He might not have shared the risk assessment. He might not informed about the hazard available at the site, or he might have told some another reason not to follow health and safety at the workplace. So it is presumed that client will be ultimate responsible even due to the mistake of the contractor. So here the client having the right, if he find any unsafe practices, he can stop to the contractor to further continue to the work. Client can monitor by following up as per the risk assessment shared between the both. In the planning stage, the client and contractor, they have shared the risk assessment. Now, how client is going to monitor the activities of the contractor? So he has taken the risk assessment of the contractor and he is going to follow up whether contractor agreed. Whatever the risk assessment, both the parties has been agreed whether they are doing the work as per the risk assessment considered over there, as per the control measure applied over there, whether contractor is following or not. Again, client can follow up as per the safe system of work or any permit to work or any method statement said between both the contractor and the client. That also can be method for following up. Following up means to monitor the contractor's activities. Whether the contractor staff worker wearing the PPE and using the safety equipment at the workplace or not. By contractor people, if they are following all health and safety guidelines, rules, regulation, this can be monitored by the client. How the client can monitor? Client can go for safety inspection. This is type of the active monitoring, and the safety audit against agreed method statement to monitor the health and safety performance of the contractor. So already contractor has been agreed to use this method by the client. Client can go for the safety inspection. Client can do the safety inspection at the site. It may be by internal, it may be by external. Client can do the safety audit to assess whether the contractor is following the health and safety at the workplace. So by these ways, the we can client can easily monitor to the contractor. Now we come to the next topic, managing the work between client and contractors. Following arrangement should be made between client and contractor for ensuring safe managing of the work. Safe managing of the work. If any deviation identify, work should be stopped for review till mutually agreed again by both client and contractor. If any deviation identified by the client, work should be stopped for review till mutually agreed by the both the parties. So we can improve the work condition by changing the risk assessment, by applying more safety equipments, by using another method, by next educate welfare facilities. The educate welfare facilities as per the number of the people, distance of the work site, geographic location of the work site, welfare facilities can be provided to both the client worker and the contractor workers. Welfare facilities we already know: drinking water, sanitary facilities, washing facilities, restroom, eating facilities. These are the basic welfare facilities should be provided by the client, or whether it is in the scope of the contractor should provide by this to complete the workers their bodily functions regularly on the time. This is also the one basic requirement to manage the work between the client and the contractor. Educate resource availability. Whatever the manpower, machine, money, materials required, that should be available as per the requirement for the contractor to complete his task. If client not issued any raw material to the contractor, how contractor will complete his task? If the material is coming after 4 hours or 5 hours, the time delayed is going to add into the contractor account. That time project cannot be completed on time. So educate resources availability to ensure by the client, and it should reach to the contractor. If contractor is purchasing separately from another supplier, that time contractor also should ensure it is coming in the enough quantity at the site. Time management and deadline, it should be ensure whatever the time is available for performing the task, the work should be completed in that proper time period, so deadline can be met. For that, if contractor required to start 2 shift 3 shift, they can go, they can increase the number of manpowers, they required to use more machine lift and cranes, they can do that. So they have to manage their time, whatever agreed. Once they got selected, they agreed to some time duration. So time management and deadline should be met. Priority, if they are going to make one township, so what is the priority of their, whether they want to construct the A block or B block, they have to decide the priority. Whatever the client requirement is there, or whatever the contractor can do first, it should be discussed again, should be mentioned in writing what is the main priority of the client. If that priority is going to meet, the work is going to manage accordingly between the client and the contractor. Legal compliances, whether contractor is following all the legal compliances which he has agreed as per the national law and the requirement of the client. If client already agreed, client has told to the contractor that he has to follow the Factories Act 1948, and wherever not mentioned in 1948 Factories Act, he has to go for the OSHA guidelines. So that time the contractor has to follow these compliances. He has to fulfill all the compliances, and client also has to, wherever the role of the client is coming, client also has to provide all the necessary supporting documents, evidences, material for completing their legal compliances. Emergency readiness and preparedness. Any work is going on the site, the client and contractor, they should be emergency readiness and preparedness, they should be always keep into the mind as a first priority. So people can easily access and egress in case of any emergency, any fire emergency, any other type of earthquake emergency, any other emergency time, collapsing of the excavation soil, that time of emergency or any confined space emergency, the plan should be ready, and all the preparedness, all the preparation should be available at the site anytime. So the work can be go smoothly without any accident. So these are the basic things we should consider for managing the work between client and contractors. Thanks.